In Central City, the air was thick with struggle. A silent heaviness settled into every broken pavement and shadowed street corner. Here, dreams often crumbled under the weight of reality. But for 12-year-old Elijah Carter, there was no room to mourn what was lost. Survival was all that mattered. Malik Carter resided in a worn-down rental home alongside his parents, Derek and Maria Carter. Once a hard-working factory man, Raymond had been the pillar of the household until a sudden stroke stripped him of his ability, leaving him frail and incapable of labor. The man who once hoisted heavy burdens with ease now found even lifting a spoon difficult, his speech slow and broken. Malik's mother, Vanessa, had since taken on the family's responsibilities. She worked back-breaking hours at Lola's diner, returning home late, her feet sore, but always offering a tired smile for Malik, as though the fatigue didn't exist. He saw past it, the way she pressed her temples when she thought no one noticed, how she made their meals stretch just a bit further. He took note of the growing stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen counter, their edges curled from being untouched, and heard the hushed, nervous conversations his parents had late at night, assuming he couldn't hear. Malik realized this couldn't go on. He was resolved to help. At just 12, his options for work were scarce. Still, he tried. After school, day after day, he wandered, asking at every corner shop, gas station, anywhere that might need help. The response was always the same: too young, come back when you're older. Then he came across Lincoln Trust Bank. The building towered downtown, its windows shining despite the gloomy sky. It stood for wealth and success, worlds apart from Malik's life. But a small "Help Wanted" sign by the side door caught his eye. "I can clean," Malik told Mr. Thompson, the slim, gray-haired manager who barely looked up at him. "Just need a chance." Mr. Thompson eyed Malik briefly, then exhaled. "Night shifts only. Stay out of trouble. Do your job. Don't touch what's not yours. Understand?" "Yes, sir," Malik answered quickly, heart racing with gratitude. And so began his new role, sweeping the floors, clearing trash, wiping down desks. It wasn't glamorous, but every dollar lightened his mother's burden. Every hour worked meant she didn't need to overextend herself for extra shifts. The bank at night felt strange, silent, its lively daytime noise replaced by stillness and glowing security lights bouncing off polished surfaces. Malik worked with focus, aware every minute counted. Fatigue crept in, but so did a deep sense of pride. He was doing his part, stepping up in a way most kids his age couldn't imagine. But what he didn't know was how this seemingly small job at the bank would lead to something far bigger than he ever expected. As the afternoon sun spilled through the towering windows of United, Trust Bank glowed beneath the overhead lights, reflecting off its sleek marble floors. Employees and patrons went about their daily routines, unaware of the chaos about to descend upon them. Malik, mop in hand, began his afternoon shift near the supply closet. He had become an expert at going unnoticed, moving quickly and quietly, blending into the background. But today wasn't like the others. Suddenly, loud, forceful steps echoed through the main entrance. In a flash, 6 masked gunmen stormed the lobby, rifles raised high. Their leader, a tall man dressed entirely in black named Carson Hayes, instantly commanded control. "Nobody move! Hands up, now!" Carson shouted, his voice slicing through the growing panic. A single gunshot shattered the ceiling, sending plaster fragments raining down, and silenced the screams. In an instant, Malik ducked into the supply closet, chest pounding, breath shallow. Through a slim opening in the door, he watched in horror as the armed gang seized control, forcing people to the ground, dragging bank employees away, and taking out a security guard without hesitation. "We're here for a government ransom, not your wallets," Carson declared, voice ice cold. "But anyone thinking they're a hero." He aimed his gun directly at an elderly woman, Mrs. Evelyn Morris, who clutched her purse in terror. "We'll regret it." Malik's hands clenched into fists. He knew he couldn't fight men with guns, but something burned inside him. "I have to do something," he whispered, determination taking root deep within. Crouched in the small space, his mind raced. He wasn't strong, but he was clever. Recalling FBI agents he'd seen earlier, that week in the bank, he realized they might still be there. Heart thundering, he moved silently through shadowed corridors until he found them. Two FBI agents held at gunpoint in a closed office. Carefully, Malik slipped inside without being seen. He gestured for silence and got to work, relying only on instinct and courage. He quickly freed their restraints, barely breathing as he worked. One agent immediately activated a hidden radio, calling for urgent backup. But Malik knew more was needed. He had to cause a distraction. He slammed the alarm button. Sirens blared. Lights flashed. The robbers stumbled, trying to make sense of the noise. Without missing a beat, Malik shoved over a towering stack of files, sending papers flying across the lobby, adding to the madness. The agents jumped into action, tackling assailants and calling in more help. Malik ducked behind a desk, gasping for breath. But his relief didn't last. Carson Hayes, now furious, found him and yanked him up roughly, gun pressed to his head. "Well, what do we have here? A little hero stirring up big trouble," Carson growled. Trembling, Malik stared him down. "Hurt me, and the FBI will never let you escape. Let me go, and maybe there's still a deal to make." The words struck Carson. He hesitated, just long enough. A shot rang out. An FBI bullet hit Carson's shoulder, his weapon spinning away. Chaos returned. Officers swarmed in. An agent helped Malik to his feet, full of praise. Evelyn Morris approached, gripping Malik's trembling hands. "You're a hero," she said, voice full of emotion. Sirens wailed. Lights flashed. Malik. He felt overwhelmed, yet a wave of relief washed over him. The nightmare had come to an end. By the next morning, everything changed once more. Richard Morris, Evelyn's son and the owner of United Trust Bank, showed up at Malik's modest home with astonishing news. He handed the Carter family a set of documents, granting them full ownership of a comfortable, mortgage-free house. Even more incredibly, Malik's mother would no longer need to exhaust herself working endless shifts, and Malik himself was awarded a full scholarship that would carry him all the way through college. Malik stood frozen, emotions flooding his chest as his parents' eyes lit up with fresh hope, taking in the life-altering kindness they'd just received. Richard offered a warm smile and spoke with genuine sincerity. "Malik, your bravery saved many lives. You've truly earned this." All Malik could manage was a whispered, "Thank you." Later, outside their new home, Malik sat quietly and thought. From the kitchen came the gentle sound of his mother humming, a soft, content tune, and his father, no longer weighed down by the heavy cloud of financial burden, smiled truly for the first time in what felt like years. He walked through the house, each step lighter than the last. News crews gathered outside, eager to hear Malik's story, pushing microphones forward and calling his name. But Malik felt no need to speak or prove anything. He hadn't done what he did for praise or headlines. He had acted because it was the right thing to do. As the sunlight dipped below the rooftops and twilight painted the sky, Malik stood silently, watching the golden light fade into the soft hues of evening. For the first time, he felt a deep and honest sense of hope blooming inside him, for his parents, for their future, and for the peace they so long deserved. Their fight wasn't entirely behind them. Life would still have challenges. But now, the weight had been lifted. The fear had been quieted, and the impossible no longer felt out of reach. Malik's quiet courage had sparked a change, one that reached beyond him, touching everyone he loved. The streets of Central City still wore the tired look of hardship. Cracked sidewalks remained. Broken windows still whispered of struggle. But in one corner of that city, inside one home filled with laughter and warmth, hope had returned. And that hope was born not from luck or chance, but from the heart of a 12-year-old boy who dared to act when it mattered most. Malik Carter didn't see himself as a hero, but to his parents, to Evelyn Morris, to Richard, and the entire city, he would always be remembered as the boy who changed everything with nothing but courage and a will to do what was right.